What is up, my gamers? I'm sorry, that intro was terrible. We're back again for some more Genshin Impact. This is gonna be a recorded video rather than a stream because I gotta let you guys know that we finally got some news on Zhongli getting a buff. Yay! That's right, finally this character is actually getting a buff. Despite the fact that I personally think that he fits into his role in the game very well, which is more of a support rather than a DPS, I still build him towards DPS the same as anybody else does, and honestly speaking, his burst is insane, just because you can cast his ult like all the freaking time. And that's got nothing to do with his constellations, okay? I keep seeing you guys saying like, oh, you're just like Zhongli because you have Constellation 6. All Constellations do for Zhongli is make his support for his team better. It doesn't really change himself that much better, honestly speaking, outside of obviously the extra levels you get into his talents. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The fact is that the devs ended up putting out a post a while back talking about how Zhongli is performing as expected. They were looking at the numbers and seeing that he was keeping teams alive, and that was his goal with what the developers wanted in the game. But it seems like all the complaints ended up fueling the hunt, and they are going to end up actually buffing Zhongli. And as much as I say Zhongli is perfect as he is, I mean, obviously, I'll take a buff to one of my favorite characters, dude. Like, seriously. You think that I'm against it? His changes aren't going to affect my character as much because a lot of it is actually based off of his max health, as we'll get into. But they are also going to end up fundamentally changing how Geo works as an element. So that's really cool for those of you that main Noelle and even Ning Wong. It's pretty nutty. So anyways, I will put a link in the description to this if you want to end up reading through it all yourselves. But I thought that because I've got so much experience with Zhongli, because I just play him all the time next to my Diluc, that, you know, I could give you guys a fresh perspective of, wow, this is a good change, this isn't so much. So anyways, they're changing his passive ability first and foremost. So Dominance of Earth is the name of the ability. The original effect increases planet befalls damage by an amount equal to 33% of Zhongli's max HP. And I gotta tell you, it doesn't scale as well as you would think. I mean, maybe if you have like insane amounts of HP, then it could end up equaling higher than a DPS build. But I found that the numbers were pretty lackluster when I built my Zhongli towards HP. So instead, I ended up just opting out of that and going for just raw DPS. I had like somewhere around 30 to 35k health on my Zhongli, and it just wasn't cutting the damage numbers as much as I wanted, and then I built him towards DPS, and then he was just much better. So anyways, what they're changing with the passive is pretty crazy. So they're making it so that damage dealt by the following attacks will be increased based on max HP, so it's not just going to be your ult anymore. It will also end up changing your normal attack, your charged attack, charge attack, please, trigger, thank you very much, and then of course your plunging attack. So all of those are going to end up increasing damage based on your max HP by 1.39% of your total HP. So there was a freak I saw on Reddit who had his Zhongli with 50k health, so he's probably crapping his pants right now, just because that's the kind of numbers that probably are going to end up making more of a difference over the damage. I would have to calculate it all, but I mean, I'll figure that out when it goes live, because this update, of course, is only going to happen in version 1.3. We're getting version 1.2 next Wednesday. That's going to be adding Dragon Spine. Where's Dragon Spine? There's Dragon Spine, the giant mountain right there, so that's going to be awesome. And then I think Zhao in February is going to be coming with version 1.3. So oddly enough, we're not getting this fixed for Zhongli with Zhongli's banner in the game, which is kind of weird. Whatever, I'll take it. So then they are also going to change it so that your Stone Steely, the resonance and holding mode of the damage of it is going to be increased by 1.9% of your max HP. So that's going to be just shooting this out right here. And then that damage right there is going to end up doing increased damage as well. So that's going to end up being very nice. It says holding mode damage. So I don't know if that means the resonance out of it. I think quite literally they just mean this, like holding your E or your RT if you're using controller, right? But either way, that scaling 1.9% damage is pretty nutty. And then of course Planet Befall, his ultimate ability, is still going to scale the exact same with 33% to his max HP, going towards the amount of damage. So that's a really nice change overall. I think that a lot of people are going to see some increased damage, even myself. That's going to be nice because, I mean, I'm saying at 18k health, so it's a decent enough amount. It's not really that crazy, but I mean, I'll take extra damage, dude. Seriously. So then they've also made changes to the Dominus Lapis holding mode. So that's going to quite literally be this ability right here, which is actually one of my favorite of his abilities. It's really, really good. And oh my god, the changes. Oh, the changes they made to this are just so good, dude. I love it. So the original effect causes nearby Geo energy to explode, which would cause the following effect. So it creates this Jade shield around him, which absorbs 250% Geo damage. The shield absorption also scales off of Zhongli's max HP, which, whatever. I don't really care that much about that. Again, I'm not built towards DPS. It also just deals AoE Geo damage, and if there are Geo targets nearby, like something that has Geo elements, it will drain a large amount of the Geo element from a maximum of 2 targets. So if you're fighting a Geo slime that has a Geo shield, or if you're fighting a Helicurl that has a Geo shield, you will steal a lot of energy out of that, which is really, really crazy. It's a lot better than even just, like, you can literally fight the Geo Noculus or whatever the heck it's called, the stupid Geo cube, and in his final phase, Zhongli can just one-shot him because you can literally destroy all of his like his elements at the end, like his little pillars. But anyways, the post effects. So here we go. So it causes nearby Geo elements to explode, which has the following effects. If the maximum number of stone Seelies, that's these guys right here, has not yet been reached, it will create a stone Seelie. Oh my god, so that means I can just hold my E and then bop, he'll cast another one of these for free. Oh my god, that is so nice, because I hate having to cast these over and over again, because I usually have to pop at least one of these and then I do my big AoE explosion. My constellation actually allows me to cast 2 of these at once, but I rarely ever end up having 2 of them out in battle, just because I would rather take the raw shield of holding my E than actually casting a stone Seelie. So it's cool that they ended up making that change. That's actually really, really nice. It's going to end up just overall increasing his damage. So it creates a stone shield, and the shield damage absorption scales based off of Zhongli's max HP as usual, but it will do 150% physical damage and elemental damage absorption. It doesn't say anything about Geo anymore. That's just raw freaking damage. So that makes the shield way stronger, because lots of people I saw complaining about Zhongli's shield, which I didn't really have that much issue. But again, it scales most of all based off of his max HP, so if you didn't have a lot of HP on your Zhong, well, then it wasn't going to affect you that much. But the fact that it's just going to be raw physical damage as well as elemental damage, I mean, that's just nutty, dude. Like, oh my god, please give it to me. So it still just deals the AoE damage from Geo. If there are targets nearby, it will drain a large amount of blah, 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 same old stuff. The adjustment will also greatly increase the interruption resistance of the hold, which is crazy, dude. So you can actually see it basically gives you super armor, which is crazy, where normally you, like, when you use this ability, it forces you to stand still for a second or two, and it leaves you really, really vulnerable. But now they made it so that you will still take damage, but you will follow through with the effect of the ability, regardless of if you're taking damage. So that is just, oh my god, that is going to be a huge change to him, just because so many times, like, you gotta run away from battle and then cast your shield. This allows you to be up in the face of everything, which I like. So that, for the most part, is going to be all the changes that we're going to be getting to Zhongli. Now we're going to be talking about the Geo Element changes, but the thing that's cool with the Zhongli changes is that none of this is final, so they might even end up scaling it a little bit better, so that would be nice. But I mean, I'll take the extra damage. That's crazy. So regarding Geo Elemental mechanics, so they're adjusting Enduring Rock. So Enduring Rock, basically, for those of you that don't know, if you end up having your party set up with 2 characters of the same element, you will end up getting various effects. So you can actually see right here, this is going to show you which elemental characters you have in your party, and then which effect you actually have going on. So I have all elemental resistances plus 15%, just because of the fact that I have 4 unique elemental characters. And the only reason I do that is just because I can't justify any of these other ones, even though they're really good. So Enduring Rock normally, as you can see, increases interruption resistance. Jesus Christ. And then when protected by a shield, it increases your damage by 15%. So they're going to end up changing that so that the increased shield strength by 15%, and additionally characters protected by a shield will have the following special characteristics. Damage dealt increased by 15%, okay, same old stuff, but dealing damage to enemies will decrease their geo resistance by 20% for 15 seconds. So Ningguang go brrr, like seriously, dude. For those of you that don't know, Ningguang is pretty much like the strongest single target character in the game right now, basically. Like, I'm sure other characters can end up building just as powerful, but good God, she is very, very easy to end up building super duper strong. Like, if I swap my Geo set from Zhongli over to Ningguang, I would probably just be stronger, but I just like Zhongli much better as a character. So the point is that she is a catalyst character, so all of her attacks do geo damage. So that is 20% resistance being knocked down for geo damage, which means that you're just going to be doing even more damage. That's crazy. But this affects all geo characters across the board. And again, this is for Enduring Rock. So you have to have 2 geo characters in your party at one time. So then this is completely separate of that. Geo shields are getting a big balance as well. So the Geo shields are adjusted from having 250% geo damage absorption to having 150% physical damage and elemental damage absorption. So the same thing that we saw with Zhongli's shield changing is actually going to affect every shield. So Noelle also go burr as far as a tank character, like seriously. The effects are also going to include, yeah, it actually says that it's going to include Zhongli's elemental skill, Noelle's elemental skill, and it also affects the Geo shield created when picking up Geo crystals dropped by Geo Vishap hatchling. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that it just means that when you get Geo shields on the ground, you know, you pick them up and then it's just, we're just going to have a lot more defense. Basically, the shields are going to be that much better. So anyways, the round of elemental, or the round of adjustments is not merely intended to improve the experience of playing Zhongli alone. They want to better convey the shield and Geo play styles that are closely associated with him as a character, but they just want to change it in general. Not only for his sake, but also to improve the experience of travelers who have been delving into the strategy layer of the game, blah, 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 blah. You know how it is. So they mentioned that they are going to be rolling out the 1.3 beta branch pretty soon. I don't have access to that, so I don't really care. But it does mean that we will more than likely get some more leaked, stuff about like damage numbers and characters and stuff like that. Despite the fact that MiHoYo is cracking down on people that are actually leaking these things, because you're actually signing a terms of service. You're not supposed to actually be talking about and showing all this stuff off. And honestly speaking, I can do without the leaks. I just find it super duper exciting anyways, and I'm just excited that my man Zhongli is going to end up being more powerful because of how much damn money I ended up spending to get him. But anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for watching, gamers. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want. This isn't my merch. Buy the merch you want to support the channel, and have yourselves a fantastic day. Sign on, and stay up, gamers. Get excited for Dragon Spawn, yo.